Hello everybody, this is a Lamley Saturday Showcase. These are the kind of showcases where we can go a little bit more in depth, and that is what we are going to do with this blank piece of wood. Let's get right to it. We're in the middle of the 2018 Lamley Awards. I've been doing a lot of polls. I've been going through many of the new models, such and such from Hot Wheels. We got more to do. You have been voting on best super, worst super, you name it. We've done a lot of topics already. If you haven't voted, there's a link down below to all of the polls in the comments section, so definitely go and vote. But there's still some polls to go. We've got Best Matchbox New Model of 2018, Model of the Year. It's going to be fun, and you just got to make sure you pay attention as we walk through those. But one thing I didn't do was a year ago, showcase the winners of the 2017 Lamley Awards. You could see them on the polls. We had everybody vote, but I never walked through them, and I think, A, I should do it, because it's what I should do. And B, you can see if you still agree with what you, the readers and viewers, chose. So I'll walk through what they are, and then I'll kind of show you what my choices were and whether they are the same or not. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not, and I'll kind of walk through it. So let's start with Best Super Treasure Hunt of 2017. You got to go back in time to remember 2017, but there's a lot of cool stuff. I went with the top two choices that you guys voted on. There were thousands of votes total, quite a few thousand actually. And here's what we came up with. Best Super Treasure Hunt. In second place with 18% of the vote, the 67 Camaro. Really, really cool one. I think I know why you guys like this one. Homage Deco. This was the first deco of the 67 Camaro in this form back in, I think, in the 80s. And so Hot Wheels brought it back, not only for the basic model, but then they made it a Super Treasure, and I think the Steelies are cool. So that was your second choice, and then your first choice with 30% of the vote. Can you remember what it was? The final Super of 2017, it was the Nissan Fairlady Z in Advan Deco. Very, very cool, and I remember finding that one in a Kmart case, actually, if you remember. When I did that unboxing, that was in there. So those were your choices. What were my choices? Well, those are pretty easy to look at. You can look at some of the others that were passed on. I think other models that got a lot of votes, the 67 Chevy C10 got 10% of the vote. So did the Toyota off-road truck. Those, I think, were the next highest. My choice, well, I agree with you guys to a certain extent. My number one was also the 67 Camaro, but I chose it over the Advan Fairlady Z for the same reasons I think you did. It's gorgeous in that Spectre Flame red. The vintage deco is super cool, and those Steelies, those chrome Steelies, I just can't get enough of those. I think those wheels are super cool, and I just thought this was an absolutely gorgeous, perfectly executed Super Treasure Hunt. So that was my choice. You want to go to worst? Well, let's find out what you guys thought were the worst Super Treasure Hunts. There were a lot. There were some unlicensed. You ultimately chose as the second worst. And by the way, there was a dominant winner in this one. But second worst with 20% of the vote, the Velocita. I think it looks cool with the star wheels. But, you know, I think any generic model is going to have a bit of a disadvantage when it comes to being chosen as a good Super Treasure Hunt. Let's just put it that way. Your number one choice with 37% of the vote. See if you can think of it. Yeah, it was this one. 16 Angels. A holiday theme on this Super Treasure Hunt. In gold with the white wheels. You guys did not like it. And boy, you didn't like it at all. I think the next one was the Cruise Bruiser, which I was surprised with that actually had or that actually was higher than the Surf Crate. But it was the 16 Angels you guys didn't like. What was my worst? Well, first and foremost, I don't agree with you on the 16 Angels. I think the Velocita is kind of boring. I think the 16 Angels, the casting is blah. But the model's cool. Or the execution, let's put it that way. The execution is cool in gold with the white wheels. I thought it was kind of a cool done Super Treasure Hunt. Not one I would choose to be a Super Treasure Hunt, but if they're going to, I think execution-wise, it was good. Mine, you're not going to like this, but this was mine because I go with what disappointed me the most, and it's this one. It's the 2017 Acura Nsx the casting's fantastic. The color is not fantastic. And the wheels don't work. So I just thought, in terms of being a super treasure hunt, it just doesn't look that good. It takes what was a decent model, the yellow Acura Nsx, which a model I actually really liked, in basic form, and it just kind of took a step down as a super treasure hunt. So it was the most disappointing. I love the casting. I collect the casting, and I definitely want that super treasure hunt. But that was my most disappointing of 2017. If you guys don't agree with me, let me know in the comments, because I think a lot of you will not, especially after I praised the 16 Angels, right? All right, let's go to Hot Wheels new model. You want to go with most disappointing first? I've always said most disappointing because worst just means, who cares? Most disappointing means you were looking forward to it and it just didn't come through. So it's a hard topic. Some people will consider it whatever is the worst. But the most disappointing model, as voted on by the readers with 24% of the vote, was the Tesla Model X. I was a little surprised by that one. I thought that model was okay. I don't think it was anything to get too excited about, but I thought it was okay. But that was the dominant, by far, considered the worst model. And I only went with one because it was pretty dominant. The next one with 10% of the vote, or 11, just under 11% of the vote, was the Volkswagen Käfer Racer, which surprised me. And then the Ford Mustang convertible below that. So I just went with the Tesla Model X. My most disappointing, again, model that I was looking forward to, didn't really come through. There were so many good models, so this was kind of hard. It was this one. This is the Camaro ZL1. And I remember writing about this on the blog. I was like, I'm just kind of done with the Camaro with the large wheels in the back. Why does it always have to be that way? Because it just looks a little smushed. I've seen some Camaro castings of this current generation Camaro that I like. This is not one of them. It just seemed a little too smashed. And I just, I liked a lot of the models, but that one just ended up being the most disappointing for me. All right, moving on. Let's get off the negative. Let's go to the positive. Best licensed new model. Hot Wheels new model. And we'll go with the top 3 choices because this one was fairly close. One model got 9% of the vote. That was in third place. The second place model got 17% of the vote, and the first place model 24% of the vote. In third place, Porsche 934.5. I have this first edition in white. It was also recolored in black that year, and of course it was a super treasure hunt this year in 2018. But this was your choice, your number 3 choice, based on the voting for best licensed model of the year. Your number 2 choice, I bet you're racking your brain about what were the new models in 2017. You guys chose the Mazda Ripu. Kind of cool to see a pickup, another Japanese pickup. And this one, yeah, I think is very cool. Kind of following up the Datsun 620. So the Mazda Ripu was your number 2. I said that got 17% of the vote. And your number 1, have you figured it out yet? I think 24% with all of these cool models, that's a pretty dominant win, and it was this one, the 1995 Mazda Rx-7, the FD Rx-7. There's also the red one, which is a Kmart exclusive. That's unique to have a new model also as a Kmart exclusive, but you guys chose that one. What's my choice? Well, I'm going to give you my top 2 because I completely agree with you. This was the best model of 2017. Best new model, basic new model. The Rx-7 I just think was hands down just the coolest thing that Hot Wheels did that year. Just a great choice, great execution. I just loved everything about it. But in terms of second, and I'm just going with my top 2, second place, I went with another one that we've seen a lot, but I thought the execution was fantastic, and it was this one. The 2017 Nissan Gtr, 2 colors of that one. I just thought this one was so well done. So well done, in fact, that I think it's the best version of the Nissan Gtr I've seen in diecast, outside of some Tomica Limited Vintage from the previous generation. But as far as the new 2017 GTR, I think Hot Wheels wins. I just thought that one was fantastic. So there were choices like the Fairlady 2000 I thought were were really good selections, but I thought the execution of the GTR overrode all the rest of it with the exception of the RX-7. All right, a couple of more topics to go. That's Hot Wheels Premium. Best Hot Wheels Premium models, I went with the top 3 vote getters. Number 3 with just under 12% of the vote. How about that? What a cool choice. The Fiat 500D Modificado. I hope I said that right. Clever little choice. I really think the Fiat is cool. That was your number 3 choice for best premium new model. I didn't do worst because, I mean, come on. We're not really picking a worst. There's one that was in last place, but who cares about that? All right, your number 2 premium new model. How about the Subaru Impreza Wrx? This is the Bug Eyes Subaru from Cars and Donuts in Car Culture. This one in signature blue with the gold. They're supposed to be kind of gold. They're maybe a little bit more burnt, I don't know, copper color. But that Subaru was your choice in second place with, what did I say, just over 20% of the vote. In your first place, you figure it out, with 43% of the vote, the Mercedes-Benz 190e 2.5-16 Evo. In black, signature black with the Evo wheels. This thing was a winner and a half. I just thought it was so great. You guys all thought it was so great. It dominated as best new model of 2017 premium. And guess what? I completely agree. This was the best new model. I completely agree with you, the viewers and the readers. And my number 2 is the Subaru as well. So I'm 100% on those. One last topic. You can't ignore the orange brand, Matchbox. So we also voted on the best Matchbox licensed new model of 2017. You want to go with the number 3 choice? The number 3 choice with 15% of the vote, Datsun 510 Rally. A lot of you like that. This is how it looked when it debuted in orange. I'm already running out of room. I think it's not fair to Matchbox sticking them back there, but what else can I do? Your number 2 with 17% of the vote, and this one was close, was the Volkswagen, the 1990 Volkswagen Golf Country. This was how the color was supposed to be. The first version was green, and then it was technically corrected. It looks like a recolor because the wheels were changed and the Montana green was used, but this is actually the correct color of the Golf Country. And then finally, number 1, and I'll just say it right now, I agreed with the readers as well. This was my number 1, is the Mercedes-Benz G63 AMG 6x6. So I am in complete agreement on the top model of 2017 from Matchbox. I thought the G63 6x6 was such a cool choice. My number 2 actually might have been the Camaro, just because I thought it was great. But I hadn't given it that much thought, so I'm going to stick with the 6x6 as my number 1. All right, there you go. Those are the winners of the 2017 Lamley Awards. Do you still agree? Would you change your mind on any of those? I mean, obviously, you might have voted a little bit differently, but overall, those are the choices that the readers made. One thing that I didn't do this year that I shared last year that I will do this year is have a model of the year, like the best 164 model in the Lamley universe. I mean, there's a million 164 brands. I have to go with things that I have covered here on the blog and on the channel, and we're going to have a vote on those, and I'm coming up with the nominees right now. I'm going to do about 10 to 12 models. It'll be really good. But if I were going to talk about the best new models of 2007, or the best 164 models of 2017, would I take any from here? Yep. This would be a nominee, the 6x6. I think the Mazda Rx-7 would be a nominee. I think that the Mercedes 190e would be a nominee. And I would also include the Subaru as a nominee for best 164 models. What would I add to it? Well, off the top of my head, and I pulled these out to show you, I think the Tomica Limited Vintage Atlas Hauler would be on the list. This model is now become such a sought-after model by collectors because they're putting all kinds of cool cars on this. This is from Tomica Limited Vintage. It actually has the moving bed, and it's just exactly what you would see a cool car being hauled into at a car show or something like that. So a lot of people are into this one. We're going to see the third color of this in 2019. And then my other nominee, and maybe my winner, but I haven't given it enough thought, but you guys can tell me what you think in the comments. From Auto World, the fantastic hobby exclusive LED sled. I just loved this model. They came in 2 colors. This LED sled deco, which is an actual racing wagon, and then Auto World made this custom version in black. If you remember, I have the Ultra Red and I have the Ultra Raw, which I famously dropped when I opened it on video. Oh, that was a crazy moment. Nonetheless, there you go. Those are the Lamley winners. You tell me if you agree or disagree moving forward. Make sure you vote on the 2018 Lamley Award winners. We're going to do more presentations in the coming days. All right, guys. Bye.